Okay. A few months ago, I began to observe that human life is too short. That made me a bit uncomfortable. And that was that moment that I woke up, and to the end of the day, I was just procrastinating. And once I started a day with the thought, what if we have more time to live? Have you ever thought about infinity life? I think yes. So now imagine the world where all our population is mortal. And no one dies because of aging process. Looks nice, isn't it? And now I have a question. Who is happier? The human who lives in that world, or the human who have never seen this world? I think we'll get an answer at the end. So, we can talk about advantages and disadvantages of infinite life, even if we don't know is it possible or not. Here you can see three creatures, and they have one similar ability to regenerate. Regeneration divides into physiological regeneration and reparative regeneration. First one regenerates and updates our body. For example, dead skin cells, we can compare it with the money that we spend from our salary to the food, water, and something like this. Reparative regeneration regenerates injuries such as broken legs or lost limbs. In its turns, in reparative regeneration turns, it also divides into typical and untypical cases. In typical case, it regenerates lost limb by the development of exactly the same part. So the reason for the loss can be external influence, for example amputation, or the animal deliberately tears off parts of its body, like lizards breaking off part of its tail. This is really useful for small creatures. If we talk about untypical case, here the lost is replaced by a structure that differs from the original. For example, if there regenerates a limb of a tadpole, the small frog, the number of fingers might be less than original one, not 4, just 3 or only 1. And a shrimp, instead of amputated eye, can grow another antenna out of in the place where I was. So why am I talking about regeneration? In fact, regeneration is just dividing of cells. And aging process is really close to it, and at the same time really different. So how aging process works? Aging in biology, the process of gradual disruption and loss of important functions of the body or its parts. In practical, the ability to reproduce and regenerate also. We have a lot of theories how does it works, because still humanity don't know why we become older. First, we can say about somatic mutation theory. We can talk about accumulation of altered proteins, mitochondrial theory, and by a molecular mechanism. But we are going to talk about Olovnik's telomeric theory. This is the main theory that explains the aging process normally and give us an opportunity to the immortal future. Olovnik's telomeric theory consists of idea that cells lost their ability to divide because of loss of telomeres at the ends of chromosomes. Where's my... Okay. We have a chromosome, yeah? It's look like this. Also, it don't look like this, but when the cell divides, chromosome looks like this. And here we have telomeres, these parts of chromosome. Telomeres, this is the section of chromosomes. Telomeric sections of chromosomes are characterized by the lack ability to connect with other chromosomes. So this is the end of DNA code that chromosomes have. This is due to absence of telomerase enzyme, which is usually expressed only in germ and stem cells. So telomerase, this is enzyme synonym to ferment. Allows our cells to divide indefinitely. This is really important because we can, when cells divide, telomeres are losing small parts of them. This is why we become older. So aging process consists just of cutting off parts of telomeres on the ends of the chromosomes. When all telomeres is gone, chromosomes or our chromosomes can just degrade, I don't know, like just fall apart, and cells can divide more. So, if the regeneration is just dividing of cells, that means if we have really cool regeneration, we won't live long. Why? Let's think which animal have really good regeneration ability. This is small lizards, salamanders, or insects that live no more than 3 or 4 years. That's why they have normal regeneration. They have parts for telomeres, not only for aging process, but for regeneration too. In that case, we can say that humans haven't got normal regeneration because we live more than 70 years. Okay, to sum up all information that I have said, we can say first that aging process is close to regeneration. Okay. Another try. Cool handwriting. This is summing up all the information that I have in 3 words. Second, aging process depends on how long your telomeres are and how long your telomerase. This is enzyme or ferment that keep your telomere in a stable point. Like they're not in. They're not becoming smaller. It's just regenerate only this thing. So the problem of aging process that in older organism, somatic cells, these are cells of our body like muscles, so all cells that are not according to the reproduction system. They can't produce this ferment, but all embryons and kids have 4 cells that's producing it, so they, in theory, can be immortal, but it's just doesn't work like that. Okay, wait. Aging process depends on how long your telomeres are and how long will your telomerase work. And biology lesson. And in fact, I can just say that we can live more. Okay, so how we can live more? First is a diet. Simple diet gives us 4 years to live.
What, 4 years?
Yes, just stability and controlled diet give us 4 or more than 5 years of our life. That's really cool. Secondly, is replacing damaged organs by artificial ones. Now, if we talk about artificial organs, it's a really cool idea, but our technique projects can't afford us this process. But in the future, in nearest future, we can do it. Imagine that your skin becomes like sand, your bones are all broken, but you're still alive because your heart is working. Not really good, yeah. Also, we can find a lot of more ways to live, but they can be very strange and a little bit crazy. Like, do you know these people who, in the past, who drinks blood of the kids, and they believe that they are...
What about having a bath, like the virgin blood? Does it work?
Theoretically, no, but it can be. Or a cryo sleep. This is a really nice idea of skipping the time, because you will not live more. You just skip, I don't know, 1,000 years, and technically you will live 70 years, but in the passport you will get like 170 years. Because when you go into a cryo sleep, you stop your metabolism, and that's all. Just your full part of your life. So.
Is it possible?
What?
Is it possible now?
Cryo? No, now? No. But if you are already dead, or you are going to be dead, you can give your body to the companies that that research in this science.
So they can revive me.
Look, you will going to put in cryo capsule, and then after 100 years, if another scientist will find the way how to recover you from the cryo sleep, you will be
A vampire.
maybe a
Okay,
vampire.
that's the point.
I have thought a little bit and tried to come up with some other ways. And first that I have thought it was that we can modify some of our cells to produce this ferment telomerase. But I think not only one, me, the best science in the world, have thought about it, but another science, of course, have an idea like that. But if we haven't do this for this moment, I think this is really hard, or we just can't do it because of technical progress. Then we can synthesize this ferment and like drink the water with telomerase and become younger and younger. And we really can synthesize this ferment. Some cosmetic companies make their products on telomerase base of this ferment, but this is of course a lie. We can synthesize the telomerase, but not the rich one, like urine. In that fact, on not rich, not working telomerase, we spent $4 million only for 1 gram. And for as far as I know, and I'm thinking that normal telomerase that we also can synthesize, but it's, I think, very expensive, near 1 billion for 1 gram, because this is immortal life. How much you can pay for this? Okay, and then we can transport our mind to the program on a road. This is quite philosophic theme, but I think this is really cool, like Matrix, where immortal, but we don't need our bodies. And I thought about regeneration in same speed as we are going old, but if we know, as I have said earlier, as we all know, that regeneration is also cutting off part of telomere, so we just die more faster. Okay, let's stop with science and talk about something more philosophical. In the beginning, I told you to imagine the immortal, eternal, infinity world. Yes, it's kind of long biology lesson. This is cool when no one dies because of the time. But all cases like that are usually double-edged sword. If no one dies and someone borns in the same time, it's going to make a crisis. Thirst, resource crisis, space crisis. No one have water, no one have money, no one have just space to live. This is will be our future if we become all immortal. In that case, we are going to spend our times traveling the space, find another place to live. But also in one moment, if we are all immortal, we just haven't got any space to live in space. So, in conclusion, I can say that of course we can be eternal one day, but do we need it? Like, we live as much as we should, and we can make our life a little bit longer, maybe 1200 years, 300 years, or more than 500 years, like elves. But then we need to control our reproduction system, because elves can make kids when they cross the point of, I think, 150 years, and it's, I think, really boring to wait 150 years to make a kid.
And for how long do you want to live?
I think 500 years, like 1600 years.
You want to?
So, in the beginning, I have a question. Like, who is happier, the man who lives in immortal world, or who have never lived in this mortal world? My opinion that the man who have never lived is much happier, because he wouldn't know any crisis. But it depends on the place that he lived. Like, if he lived in Africa, it's really pity. I think he's in the hell.
We will cut it.
Yes.
It's racist.
So, what do you think? Like, Mary?
About what?
About my question. Like, who is more happier?
Were you listening, Mary?
Yes.
I was controlling that you listen. Okay, so I don't know, but I would like to live forever. That would be interesting. Of course, if I don't have to kill people for that, like vampires, for example.
Yes, I think I have a thought that we can choose one immortal person from one planet. I think he will just big history book. He will see where in the.
Well, I think
But-
it's like a
But
prison.
it's a question. If we live immortal life, would our brains would be good enough to remember all this information?
It can be. You can roll something. So.
Well, yeah, but you will forget someday.
Yes, of course we will forget something, because in my 14 years I don't remember what was when I was born, or just like
Yes,
5
yes.
years.
Like, if, for example, if you live for 1,000 years, you might forget just how you were born, your first.
Your name.
Yes.
If you are writing a history.
Well, not your name. Was repeated like many times. So you know, for
But
example,
you
your
can-
parents.
But then you rightly said that you can change the history and nobody can say you anything
Of course.
bad because
It
you
would be
lived.
1940.
For example, say that you was
Yes.
the most beautiful man in the world, and it was not.
In that case, for like half of your life, you can train your memory to memorize another half of your life.
Amazing. It's more like a prison than a life thing.
Yes. So that's why I asked, who is more happier here?
And I've got another question to
Yep.
you. So, what do you think for now is the main obstacle to this research? Because as far as I understand, there is not been a lot of progress in this field. Why?
Firstly, because this sphere was started researching not really long time ago, like for 20 or 30 years, and for science it's nothing. And we have not enough people in this sphere. It's also interesting, but this is really, really hard to understand.
Any other? I think it was interesting.
It was. I can say that that's not that topic that we can